Distinguished guests, galaxy of intellectuals, representatives from the press, students and my dear friends, good morning to all of you. May I have the honor of requesting everyone to please be seated as we are just about to begin the 5th Foundation Day of Odisha State Open University. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of esteemed Vice Chancellor OSOU in the Foundation Day of the University. First and foremost, I would like to thank you all for sparing your valuable time in participating in the function. OSOU, established on 10th June 2015, envisages to make Odisha the knowledge hub through education, training, research and capacity building and promote skill development for the youth, particularly the underprivileged, so as to ensure access and equity in higher education and enhance employability. The university has completed its glorious 5 years and has put forth sincere efforts to achieve its mission and vision. I would like to give you a brief overview of the program, which has two major components. In the first part, it will be an inaugural session presided by the Honorable Chancellor of the University, and in the second part, it will be the Foundation Day lecture delivered by Padma Shri Professor Dr. B.N. Gangadhar, Director of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore. The program shall commence with the arrival of Honorable Chancellor sharp at 10:30 am. On his arrival, National Anthem will be played. All the invitees are requested to stand and remain standing till the end of the National Anthem. This will be followed by the address of the esteemed Vice Chancellor of Odisha State Open University, Dr. Shrikant Mahapatra. A memorandum of understanding will be signed between Odisha State Open University and National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore, to offer series of training program on psychosocial care to reach the unreached with mental health. It is a capacity enhancement program for the above delivery partners so that they can take care of the mental health issues of the vulnerable groups in the society and to ensure their well-being during the present COVID-19 pandemic. The team from NIMHANS is headed by Program Coordinator Dr. K. Shekhar, Professor and Registrar NIMHANS, Dr. Prabhat Chand, Professor Department of Psychiatry, Dr. Govind Maji, Associate Professor Department of Psychiatry Social Work, Dr. Jay Kumar C, Assistant Professor Department of Psychiatry Social Work, and Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Manikappa, Assistant Professor Center for Psychosocial Support in Disaster Management, have extended immense support for the development of the content of the program. Professor Dr. K. Shekhar, Registrar NIMHANS, shall address the gathering after the MOU signing ceremony. Following this, Honorable Chancellor Sir shall release the online training program prepared jointly by NIMHANS and OSOU on psychosocial care of vulnerable groups under present pandemic COVID-19. This will be followed by the address of Professor Dr. Lalit Kumar Meher, Director Veer Surendra Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, Burma, and former Dean and Principal of Bhima Bhoi Medical College, Balangir. Sir is a Fellow of Indian College of Physicians and a recipient of prestigious WHO Fellowship in Endocrinology. After this, the Honorable Chancellor shall inaugurate the training program on COVID-19 known as COVID Yuddha Gyan, prepared jointly by VIMSAR and OSOU for creating public awareness regarding the prevention of coronavirus disease 2019. A series of training program on COVID awareness for general public, community worker and paramedics will be developed subsequently. As part of the national and international response, this program is developed based on the information provided by World Health Organization, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, Health and Family Welfare Department, Government of Odisha, and with the help of medical experts from VIMSAR. A team from VIMSAR headed by Dr. Prakash Chandra Panda, MD, Professor and HOD Pediatrics and Nodal Officer COVID-19 Training, supported by Dr. Sudarshan Pothal, MD Faculty Pulmonary Medicine, Dr. Smita Panda, MD Faculty Community Medicine, Dr. Gaurahari Pradhan, MD Faculty Pulmonary Medicine, and Dr. Kulwant Nakra, MD Faculty Community Medicine, has put forth their sincere efforts for the content creation of the program. Honorable Chancellor Sir shall inaugurate a book on Public Library and Digital Divide and the University Profile 2020. The book is a result of two-day national seminar on the theme Public Library and Digital Divide Opportunities and Challenges. We would like to thank Professor Aditya Kumar Padi, Shri Abhay Kumar Padi and Professor Ravi Narayan Mishra for their contribution in the development of the book. The university profile is like a mirror image of the university. It contains brief write-ups on major activities and achievements undertaken during the last 1 year. Following this, Honorable Chancellor Sir shall address the gathering. The national anthem will be played after the address of the Honorable Chancellor, and all the participants are requested to stand during that time. I request all the participants to kindly join the program through Zoom, Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the Foundation Day celebrations of Odisha State Open University.
It's a privilege to inform you all that His Excellency the Governor of Odisha and Honorable Chancellor of Odisha State Open University, Professor Ganeshi Lal, is arriving at the venue of the function.
विनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे तारे तव जय गाथा जय जन मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय 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 जय
I take it as a great privilege to invite esteemed Vice Chancellor Odisha State Open University to please provide the welcome address to the gathering.
Namaskar. Very good morning to all the distinguished participants. At the outset, I welcome His Excellency, the Governor of Odisha and the Chancellor of Odisha State Open University, Professor Ganeshi Lal ji, old name in the state of Odisha. His intellectual proficiency, oratory skills, and ability to identify with the common man has earned him the distinction to preside over the 5th Foundation Day of Odisha State Open University. Padma Shri Professor P.N. Gangadhar, Director, NIMHANS Bangalore, is our distinguished speaker to deliver the Foundation Day lecture on well-being and yoga. Under his benign guidance, we have prepared online psychosocial care training modules for community health workers, primary teachers, students, and volunteers to deal with mental stress caused due to COVID-19 pandemic. I welcome you, sir, to this inaugural ceremony and thank you for accepting our invitation to deliver the Foundation Day lecture. Professor Dr. Lalit Kumar Meher has joined today as the new director of Veera Surendra Sai Institute of Medical Science and Research at Burla. We have developed 9 training modules for general awareness on COVID-19 in collaboration with BHIMSAR. I welcome Professor Meher to the Foundation Day function along with his team of doctors from Bhimsar and wish him all the very best in his new assignment as the director of the institute. I take this opportunity to welcome all the honorable vice chancellors of different universities in the state of Orissa, vice chancellors of open universities in the country, former vice chancellors, distinguished guests, media representatives, honorable members of the Board of Management and other statutory bodies of the Orissa State Open University, and above all, the faculty and students from OSOU and other universities to this 5th Foundation Day of Orissa State Open University. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Today, we are going to witness a historic event, the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore, and Odisha State Open University, Sambalpur, to offer series of training programs on psychosocial care to reach the unreached with mental health during the present COVID-19 pandemic. May I now request the Registrar of Odisha State Open University and the Registrar of NIMHANS to please sign the MOU and display it over the screen for our viewers. Thank you so much, sir. I now deem it a great privilege to invite Professor Dr. K. Shekhar, Registrar NIMHANS, to please address the gathering. Please, sir.
सबको शुभ शक्ला. Respected Chief Guest, Honorable Governor of Odisha and Chancellor of OSOU, Professor Ganesh Lal ji, Vice Chancellor of Odisha State Open University, Dr. Srikant Mahapatra ji, Registrar of OSOU, Dr. Manas Ranjan Pujari ji, Member of the Board, Sri Surajit Mishra, the basic force behind the entire activity, the faculties, students, and all distinguished guests. It is my privilege to be in this August gathering to sign the MOU between Orissa State Open University and NIMHANS for providing psychosocial care in COVID-19. This day goes into the history as Honorable Chairperson, Chancellor Sri Ganesh Lal ji, himself an eminent professor and orator and an outstanding academician. Under his dynamic leadership, the Orissa State Open University is forging ahead in the virtual education by starting India's first online course on psychosocial care in technical collaboration with NIMHANS and Institute of National Importance under the Government of India. I place it on record. It was in 1999 Orissa super cyclone that the first word of community level workers emerged from there, and today Odisha is in the forefront for the entire country and internationally in terms of disaster risk reduction as well as preparedness and management. Based on that, NIMHANS has been able to achieve larger heights of becoming the nodal agency for psychosocial support in disaster management for the entire country. This unique program envisages to design and develop online training modules for field level, community level health workers, volunteers, and students methodically. I would like to draw the attention of all. Today morning, our Honorable Health Minister Harshvardhan ji has asked for a social vaccine. And this is the first social vaccine which is going to go to the last mileage, and it is going to be done by ASHA workers, school teachers, health workers, volunteers, and others. That way, this is one of the largest and the major program what Odisha State Open University has been able to bring into picture. It would enable to take care of the basic mental health care needs of the poor, illiterate, as well as the other person, and it would reach the unreached population. The vulnerable population has otherwise been deprived of the facility, particularly during the extreme situation like the present COVID-19 situation. Subsequent to the training modules would be suitably modified to cover the training needs of the same group of health workers for the entire country. And as the final outcome, the online course modules for certificate and diploma courses covering other critical areas of mental health care on a phased manner would be carried out. I congratulate the Vice Chancellor, the Registrar Surajit Mishra, and NM Prustiji and all the faculties for this effort. Last but the least, I thank my director, NIMHANS, Dr. B.N. Gangadharji, for his constant support and encouragement of making an intersectoral participation between health sector and that of the education sector, which would go a long way. I am sure the dreams of Pradhan Mantri in terms of a skill development for the last mile workers would become true based on this particular course. I am sure that the seed what we have sown in Orissa, like what we did in 1999, would bring a healthy and a strong and will shower a large amount of knowledge and skill to the grassroots level workers to mitigate the psychosocial impact and make the entire community resilient. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. Now it's a privilege for us to request the Honorable Chancellor, sir, to inaugurate the training modules prepared jointly by NIMHANS and OSOU on psychosocial care for vulnerable groups under present pandemic COVID-19. Chancellor, sir, please.
बता दीजिए कैसे करना है, इधर से कहाँ करना है बताइए ना.
Hello everyone. Odisha State Open University, Sambalpur, Odisha, in collaboration with National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bengaluru, Karnataka, endeavor to reach the unreached with mental health care, welcomes all of you to Ashwasan, Psychosocial Care during COVID-19 pandemic. This program is solely dedicated to all our frontline warriors. Coronavirus and its impact on us. We are locked up in our houses. Our works are at halt. We are at risk of physical, psychological, social, and economic vulnerabilities. We can see the steps to tackle the situation, or the 3A technique. First is awareness, the complete knowledge of the problem. Second is analysis, understanding the whys and hows. And finally comes assessment, which is evaluating the short-term and long-term impact. This is the pictorial representation of how we should be aware about our economic health, social health, mental health, physical health, and about the virus and the disease.
Our circle of support. Primary circle includes family. Secondary circle includes friends. Tertiary circle includes ASHA and Anganwadi Karmis, doctors and nurses, ambulance, police, hospital. Spectrum of care covers housing aid, psychosocial support, self-care, means for livelihood, paralegal aid.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it's my honor to invite Professor Dr. Lalit Kumar Meher, Director, Veer Surendra Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, Burla, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
His Excellency, Honorable Chancellor
Oh,
of
yeah.
Government of Odisha, Professor Ganesh Lal, Honorable Director, NIMHANS, Dr. B.N. Gangadhar, who is also a course partner of Odisha Open University, Dr. S.K. Mahapatra, Vice Chancellor, Odisha Open University, Dr. M.R. Pujari, Registrar, Odisha Open University, Dean and faculty members of VIMSAR, the resource team of VIMSAR and the technical team of VIMSAR. Now, COVID-19 has posed a very great challenge among all of us. So, it is our primary duty to prepare ourselves how to face this challenge. And this is an educational endeavor to propagate the general awareness on COVID-19. And there shall be 3 courses in this series: the COVID Yuddha Gyan for general public, COVID Yuddha Gyan for field worker, COVID Yuddha Gyan for nurses. The modules have been prepared out of the training material used to train for the COVID-19 training conducted at VIMSAR for about 2,000 numbers of doctors, paramedical workers, medical students of 7 to 9 semesters, including the staffs attached to 7 district headquarter hospital of VIMSAR. The hard work of the converting difficult technicalities into simple messages for non-medical and paramedical worker has been possible only because of the long hours of sweat and hard work and sincerity of on the part of Dr. Panda, who is the professor head of the Department of Pediatrics and also the nodal officer of COVID-19 training program at VIMSAR, and his resource team comprising of Dr. Sudarshan Pathal and Dr. Gaura Hari Pradhan from pulmonary medicine, Dr. Smita Panda and Dr. Kulwant Lakra from community medicine. The module covers every aspect of COVID-19 knowledge, starting from the virus to the pathogenesis, signs and symptoms, treatment and prevention. There are educational videos as well, and the materials shall also be released in Odia language and possibly in other state languages in due course. This is a joint initiative by the VIMSAR for resource material and the Odisha Open University for technical and logistics support and course promotion. In future, a formal MOU will be signed between the 2 institutions, that is between VIMSAR and the NIMHANS, which will contribute in a better way towards the research and promotion of this activity. In future, this module will also be rolled out online for free access in Odisha Open University website, and formal certificates of completion can be generated automatically by the participants on completion and passing of a self-assessment test. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your profound knowledge with us. Now, it's an honor for us to request Honorable Chancellor, sir, to inaugurate the training modules prepared jointly by VIMSAR and OSOU on COVID Yuddha Gyan for creating public awareness regarding the prevention of coronavirus disease 2019. Chancellor, sir, please.
Hello viewers, welcome to COVID Yuddha Gyan, a program introduced by Odisha State Open University, Sambalpur in collaboration with Veer Surendra Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, Sambalpur, for creating public awareness on the prevention of coronavirus disease 2019, also known as COVID-19. This educational endeavor has been created for publication and free circulation amongst the general public, on-field community level workers and paramedical personnel only for awareness on COVID-19 and the related situational challenges. The contents are based on available guidelines and materials from authentic sources as on date and are likely to be out of tune at a later date due to the ever-evolving knowledge and science of the contagion and its properties. The team involved for the concept and content creation from VIMSAR is headed by Dr. Prakash Chandra Panda, MD, Professor and Head of Department Pediatrics and COVID-19 Training Nodal Officer, supported by Dr. Sudarshan Pothal, MD, Faculty in Pulmonary Medicine and COVID-19 Nodal Officer, Dr. Smita Panda, MD, Faculty in Community Medicine and COVID-19 Trainer, Dr. Gaura Hari Pradhan, MD, Faculty in Pulmonary Medicine and COVID-19 Trainer, and Dr. Kulwan Lakra, MD, Faculty in Community Medicine and COVID-19 Trainer.
Release of the book.
Thank you so much, sir. We further request Honorable Chancellor, sir, to please release the book on Public Library and Digital Divide and OSOU Profile 2020. The book is the result of a 2-day national seminar on the theme of Public Library and Digital Divide, Opportunities and Challenges. The university profile is like a mirror image. Chancellor, sir, please.
सर्वप्रथम मैं पद्मश्री प्रोफेसर वीएन गंगाधर जी, जो डायरेक्टर हैं निम्हांस बेंगलोर के, और उन्हीं के साथ ऑनरेबल रजिस्ट्रार डॉक्टर के सेकार, जो रजिस्ट्रार हैं, इस उत्सव की शोभा बढ़ाने के लिए, मार्गदर्शन करने के लिए मैं उनका हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं और आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। इसके साथ साथ ओडिशा स्टेट ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी संबलपुर के ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर डॉक्टर श्रीकांत महापात्रा जी, रजिस्ट्रार डॉक्टर मानस रंजन पुजारी जी, और विमसार के अंदर अभी जो हमारे ऑनरेबल डायरेक्टर श्री ललित कुमार जी, इनका भी अभिनंदन करता हूं, अभिवादन प्रस्तुत करता हूं कि इन्होंने इसे साइको सोशल केयर फॉर दिस डेडली एंड फेटल disease, whatever they have planned and whatever they have prepared, the modules, the trainings, etc., to combat and to defeat this disease which has surreptitiously been injected in the entire world. उसका मुकाबला करने के लिए जो भी उन्होंने प्लान किया है, मॉड्यूल्स बनाए हैं, ट्रेनिंग्स देने का किया है, साधुवाद के पात्र हैं, अभिनंदन के पात्र हैं, अभिवादन के हैं। मैं उनका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। बेसिकली 3 विषयों पर उन्होंने हाईलाइट करने का विचार किया, जैसे मैंने अभी देखा है कि अवेयरनेस है, एनालिसिस है और असेसमेंट है। मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज अवेयरनेस। अवेयरनेस नर्चर्स इंटेलेक्ट। अवेयरनेस के कारण हमारी जो प्रज्ञा रहती है, मेधा रहती है, उसका पोषण होता है। और भगवान जगन्नाथ ने, प्रभु जगन्नाथ ने, सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ गॉडहेड लॉर्ड कृष्णा ने भगवत गीता में कहा कि प्रवृत्तिम च निवृत्तिम च कार्य कार्य भय अभय बंधम च मोक्षम स यह वेति बुद्धि स पार्थसात्विकी। इंटेलेक्ट क्या होता है? व्हाट इज टू बी डन, व्हाट इज नॉट टू बी डन, व्हाट इज टू बी परसूड, व्हाट इज नॉट टू बी परसूड, व्हाट इज टू बी एक्सेप्टेड, व्हाट इज नॉट टू बी एक्सेप्टेड। इसका जो एनालिसिस कर पाता है, विश्लेषण कर पाता है, असेसमेंट कर पाता है, तो फिर अवेयरनेस का जन्म होता है। तो जो 3 बातें विशेष रूप से जिनके ऊपर कॉन्सेंट्रेट करने जा रही है यूनिवर्सिटी, वह इंटेलेक्ट से जुड़ा हुआ ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है। जहां तक उड़ीसा का संबंध है और पूरे विश्व का, रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, तो वास्तव के अंदर जो ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी ने और इमसार ने जो मिलकर एक प्रयास किया है, उससे ये साफ जाहिर है कि हम क्या हैं और पूरा विश्व हमको छोड़कर क्या सोचता है। तो जहां तक उड़ीसा का संबंध हम सोचते हैं कि वी हैव व्हाट वी लाइक, वर्ल्ड सोचता है कि वी मस्ट लाइक व्हाट वी हैव, और वर्ल्ड सोचता है कि वी मस्ट हैव व्हाट वी लाइक। हमको जो दुनिया में पसंद है वो हमें मिलना चाहिए। लेकिन उत्कल प्रदेश और ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी, फर्स्ट ऑफ इट्स काइंड इन द एंटायर इंडिया, जिन्होंने इस प्रकार का प्रयास किया है, हम ब्लिसफुल हैं प्रभु जगन्नाथ की कृपा से। हर नजारा ओपन है। ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी का मतलब भी यही है, कुछ हिडन नहीं है। ये ब्लैक मनी, ये ब्लैक हार्ट, ये काले धंधे, काले कारनामे, ये जो सब चलते हैं, जिसके कारण करुणा समाप्त होती है और कोरोना जैसी डिजीजेस का जन्म हो जाता है, इसके बारे में अवेयरनेस को देने का विषय जो ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी ने निकाला है, वास्तव में बहुत ही प्रशंसनीय है। और आइंस्टीन के शब्दों में, जैसे उड़ीसा सोचता है कि नॉट ऑल दैट काउंट्स इज काउंटेड, नॉट ऑल दैट इज काउंटेड काउंट्स। मनुष्य सामान्यता पूरी जिंदगी भर इस संसार को अपना टेम्पटेशंस हैं, अट्रैक्शंस हैं, उनमें खो जाता है। साइंटिस्ट कहते हैं कि लोहा कितना भी बलवान क्यों ना हो, उसको जंग भीतर से लगता है। अगर खुला हो तो जंग नहीं लगता है। दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी बीमारी, जिसके कारण दुनिया भर की बीमारियां पैदा होती हैं, वह है जेलसी। और जेलसी का आधार है ईगो, जेलसी का आधार है कंपैरिजन, जेलसी का आधार है कंपटीशन, संघर्ष, मुकाबला करना, कंप्लेंट्स करते रहना। ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी का सीधा सीधा मतलब है कि वी आर ओपन टू ईच एंड एवरी पार्टिकल ऑफ दिस एंटायर यूनिवर्स। इस पूरे ब्रह्मांड के हर प्रत्येक कण के साथ हम खुले हैं। इसलिए जो अवेयरनेस का विषय आपने निकाला है, मुझे लगता है कि वर्ल्ड को अगर ब्यूटी, लाइट और पीस अगर कोई प्रदान कर सकता है, तो वह अवेयरनेस ही प्रदान कर सकता है, इंटेलेक्ट प्रदान कर सकता है। और उसके नाते स्टेट ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी ने इस प्रकार का जो प्रयास किया है, वह बहुत अच्छा है। वी आर ओपन टू कन्विक्शंस, नो रिजर्वेशंस, नो रेजिमेंटेशन ऑफ थॉट। हमें किसी विश्व के किसी भी छोटे से छोटे अणु से या किसी देश से किसी प्रकार का कोई शिकायत नहीं है। लेकिन जितने भी प्रकार के इस प्रकार के जो संसार के अंदर, जिससे चार बातों से विशेष रूप से संसार घिरा रहता है, प्रलोभन से, पाप से, पीड़ा से, पतन से, ये विश्व के चार आर्नोमेंट्स हैं, प्रलोभन, पाप, पीड़ा और पतन। इन चारों को रोकने का अगर कोई सबसे बड़ा साधन है तो वो अवेयरनेस है। और इस अवेयरनेस को लेकर जो उड़ीसा की स्टेट ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी ने जो ये प्रयास किया है, मुझे लगता है कि केवल कोरोना के लिए ही नहीं, साइको सोशल के लिए ही नहीं, जो एक स्पिरिचुअल डेमोक्रेसी रहती है, जिसको आप कह सकते हैं, या जिस प्रकार के 7 शरीरों का वर्णन आता है कि ग्रॉस बॉडी, सटल बॉडी, भाव शरीर, यही शरीर नहीं है जहां पर दुनिया आके समाप्त हो जाती है। पर मुझे लगता है आपके अवेयरनेस के माध्यम से मेंटल बॉडी, स्पिरिचुअल बॉडी, कॉस्मिक बॉडी और बॉडीलेस बॉडी के बारे में भी जो 4 प्रकार के अन्य शरीर रहते हैं, बताया गया है कि अन्नमय शरीर होता है, प्राणमय शरीर होता है, मनमय शरीर होता है, प्रज्ञामय शरीर होता है, और अल्टीमेटली जिसको हम कहते हैं आनंदमय शरीर होता है। दिस अवेयरनेस अल्टीमेटली लीड्स वन टू दैट आनंदमय शरीर। आपने अवेयरनेस का बात किया है। दुनिया में अज्ञान सबसे बड़ा शत्रु है। अगर 4 बड़े यज्ञ कहे गए हैं, जैसे द्रव्य यज्ञ है, तप यज्ञ है, ऐसे ही ज्ञान यज्ञ है। ये अवेयरनेस इज नथिंग एल्स बट ज्ञान यज्ञ। इसके बारे में आप सबको अवेयर करने जा रहे हैं। हम केवल प्रॉब्लम्स को हल करने की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं जब अवेयरनेस की बात करते हैं। अवेयरनेस का मतलब केवल प्रॉब्लम्स को हल करने का बात नहीं है। सामान्यतः अनुभव यह आता है कि प्रॉब्लम्स को अवॉइड करते करते वो सिचुएशन में कन्वर्ट हो जाती है, सिचुएशन चैलेंज में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है, और फिर पूरा विश्व जैसे कोरोना के लिए वैक्सीन ढूंढने के लिए लगा है, ऐसे अपॉर्चुनिटी की तलाश कर उसकी मेडिसिन ढूंढने में लग जाता है। पर अवेयरनेस का सीधा सीधा मतलब है कि हम इस बारे में, हमारी बुद्धि, हमारी प्रज्ञा, हमारी मेधा, हमारी इंटेलेक्ट, हमारा इनर स्पेस, इनर बीइंग, हमारा सेल्फ एक मानसिक रूप से, आध्यात्मिक दृष्टि से इस बात के लिए तैयार हो जाता है कि अगर प्रकृति की हर चीज खुली है, ओपन है, फनी के लिए भी खुली है, अम्फान के लिए भी खुली है, कोरोना के लिए भी खुली है, ये सब किस लिए है? ओपन इसलिए है क्योंकि प्रभु भी ओपन है। और उत्कल प्रदेश का तो सौभाग्य है कि यहां प्रभु पलके भी नहीं रखते हैं अपने नयनों पर। He takes away everything which is poisonous, which is disastrous within you, and gives you everything whatever you want, you see. So he comes out of his residence abode. बाहर निकलते हैं घर से, सबको देखते हैं, सबके भीतर से देखते हैं, सबके भीतर में क्या छुपा है, जो भी अश्लील है, अनवांटेड है, अनडिजायरेबल है। क्योंकि परिस्थितियां बदलती हैं, इसलिए जीवन के नियम भी बदलते हैं, और धर्म ही अगर जीवन है तो धर्म के नियम भी बदलते रहते हैं हर परिस्थिति के अनुसार। तो ये जो विषय आपने अवेयरनेस लिया है, उसके बाद आता है एनालिसिस और असेसमेंट। मुझे लगता है, अगर आपको उचित लगे तो मेरा निवेदन भी है कि इस अवेयरनेस के ऊपर कि ऐसा कैसे होता है, कैसे हो गया ये सब, किस प्रकार हो रहा है ये सब, इसके बारे में अवेयरनेस, इसके बारे में जागृत करना। आपका प्रदेश उत्कल प्रदेश, हम उत्कल जननी के पुत्र पुत्रियां, ये अनुपम है, अप्रतिम है, अद्वितीय है, अद्भुत है। क्योंकि यहां पर तो चाहे अनचाहे, जाने अनजाने में ऐसी चीजें अंतर्निहित उपस्थित हो जाती हैं जिसके योगी लोग वर्षों वर्षों नहीं, जन्मों जन्मों तक जिसकी कल्पना नहीं कर सकते, वो चीजें यहां स्वभावतः है अंतर्निहित अंदर पैदा होती रहती हैं। लोगों को प्रार्थना करने की जरूरत रहती होगी। टेनिसन कहते हैं कि मिराकल्स आर wrought बाय प्रेयर देन दिस वर्ल्ड कैन ड्रीम ऑफ। ऐसे चमत्कार हो जाते हैं प्रार्थनाओं से, पर यहां तो हर कण, हर बिंदु प्रतिदिन अनवरत एक अनहद नाद प्रार्थना करता रहता है। तो हमारा ये प्रदेश, उत्कल प्रदेश, उड़ीसा राज्य पूरे विश्व के लिए एक प्रेरणा बनेगा, एक उदाहरण बनेगा, एक ऐसा बनेगा जिसको विश्व जानने की कोशिश करेगा, पहचानने की कोशिश करेगा, और इसकी रज में अपने मस्तक को नवाने का संकल्प लेकर मुझे लगता है पूरा विश्व इधर झुकेगा। और स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटीज जो अपना संबलपुर का ये है, उड़ीसा स्टेट ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी, और जिसमें बेंगलोर से भी हमारे ऑनरेबल गेस्ट, दे हैव बीन ग्रेशियस इनफ। माय हार्ट जॉयज, limps with joys, jumps with joys, rejoicing to receive you, to welcome you to this foundation day, 5th foundation day of the state open university. And I think whatever and you have thought of and whatever you have planned पुरुषार्थ और प्लानिंग से ही केवल काम नहीं चलता है। इनविजिबल फोर्स का ब्लेसिंग चाहिए, जिसको लोग भाग्य कह सकते हैं, किस्मत कह सकते हैं, पुण्य कह सकते हैं। दैट इनविजिबल फोर्स का ब्लेसिंग्स चाहिए। वह इनविजिबल फोर्स का ब्लेसिंग्स हमको ऑटोमेटिकली मिला हुआ है। इसलिए आपका पुरुषार्थ और प्लानिंग पूरे विश्व के लिए, पूरे भारत के लिए हम जो ये प्रयास कर रहे हैं, ये प्रयास हमारा यशस्वी हो, ये प्रयास हमारा विश्व वंदनीय हो। इसी प्रार्थना के साथ मैं इस उड़ीसा स्टेट ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी के इस मॉड्यूल्स और ट्रेनिंग का इसको शुभकामना देता हूँ, और जिन लोगों ने ये प्रयास किया है उनको प्रणाम करता हूँ, अभिनंदन करता हूँ, अभिवादन करता हूँ। वंदे उत्कल जननी, जय हिंद।
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात हिमाचल यमुना तब शुभ नामे जागे, तब शुभ आशीष मागे, आगे तब जय
Thank you very much. May I now take the privilege of requesting our Foundation Day lecture to be delivered by Padma Shri Professor B.N. Gangadhar Ji, Director, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore. Professor Gangadhar Ji, kindly start your presentation, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Respected Vice Chancellor, Registrar of the Odisha State Open University, my colleagues in this room where we are making this lecture online, Dr. Shekhar and colleagues, and all the distinguished audience who have connected to this program. We just heard a very encouraging speech by the Honorable Rajyapal. I congratulate the entire university and their staff on this occasion of the Foundation Day. I wish the university all success in their endeavors. I also thank them for inviting NIMHANS to be working with them on this psychosocial disaster, psychosocial distress relief or mitigation activity during this COVID period. I want to place on record that NIMHANS has been working with Odisha even earlier when we worked for the cyclone in Orissa, and of course subsequently several training programs for mental health personnel has happened from NIMHANS. I must place on record my appreciation to all the departments of the Odisha government for making this possible. We will assure all our cooperation, not just in this COVID period and in the days to come, our support to facilitate the best mental health service in Odisha. With these few words of introduction, I also thank the organizers for inviting me to give this Foundation Day lecture. I hope to keep my time and wind up this lecture at the earliest so that your other activities can go on. The lecture's title is Yoga Well-Being, and I added a component of neuroprotection to emphasize the research that we have done at NIMHANS. Yoga, as we all know, received a big jump ever since the United Nations made it an official activity, declaring the International Day of Yoga 21st June. Thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister who introduced this topic in his first UN lecture, following which there was no looking back. Year after year, since 2015, we have been observing the International Day of Yoga, and it is gathering more and more momentum. All countries participating into this. We recently saw a viral video of a very senior cardiologist from Italy who was on ventilator who had to be on ventilator, but before that he went on to practice pranayama while he was going through the COVID treatment and got out of it. So it looks like at all stages yoga has played an important role, and here we are trying to learn as part of this lecture some facets of yoga which I want to introduce to all of you here. I'm hurried there. Okay. Well-being is a state of mind. Well-being is a feeling that we have to always relish, keeping our health in sound state. In fact, the World Health Organization defining mental health ensures that health without mental health is incomplete. So a total health means mental health and mind being in a state of well-being. And this is precisely what yoga reiterates and has been saying ever since yoga was introduced to the world. As many as the Ramayana years backwards to the latest years, mind is an issue which crops up in all definitions of yoga. Yoga Chittavritti Nirodha, among the latest of them, Patanjali, who gave us all the yoga principles, went on to say, you control the oscillations of your mind through yoga, and yoga helps to do that. So here we are very appropriately using yoga for purposes of well-being, and the manualization of yoga happened by sage Patanjali, who gave the 8 limbs of yoga, starting from yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and so on. However, while all these limbs are essential for practice of yoga, most of the situation in the world for practical application, they refer to yoga as a set of yogasanas, postures. And some also add pranayama. Although meditation, the dhyana, dharana and samadhi become very important, meditation has cut a separate niche for itself in the yoga practices. However, many yoga practitioners emphasize being mindful during yogasana practices can be very helpful. In other words, in an indirect way, the meditation gets into this cycle of yoga, pranayama, asana and pranayama, and meditation becomes an inseparable part of it. So here we are at NIMHANS using yogasana and pranayama and in some parts of meditation as well for treating a lot of patients with psychiatric and neurological illnesses. And this tradition has been there much earlier, but more formalized in the last decade and a half. And most recently, we have made an academic department which has yoga and Ayurveda together as integrative medicine in mental health and neurosciences. So here we are applying yogasana, pranayama into improving the well-being. I'll illustrate what I have said that it happens with some examples. I'm going to take two examples to illustrate this promotion of well-being and some elements of neuroprotection using some work which we have done with elderly population and those who have a depressed disorders. Two different categories of people in whom we have been able to demonstrate. For example, we looked at elderly people who need to have most well-being situation as getting older invites a lot of physical and mental illnesses. Practicing yoga in this group of individuals facilitates their sleep to get better. And those who were doing yoga had a lower sleep disturbance scores compared to those who were on waitlist category. We also looked at cognitive functions in people with elderly individuals, and we know this has been replicated by other studies as well. People who practiced yoga had a substantial improvement in their cognitive function, but that did not happen in those people who did not practice yoga and were waitlisted. Well-being reflects in quality of life, and people who practiced yoga reported better quality of life than those who did not practice yoga. And in fact, for various reasons, they went on to say that their quality of life has been coming down. So together, yoga has had significant positive effects in otherwise healthy elderly individuals who lived in their old age homes. We also looked at depression. Depression is one other ubiquitous disease, quite prevalent, and we know it pulls down an individual's morale. And this depression as an illness also reduces productivity in the community. And so it is very important that we look at yoga in its therapeutic role in depression as well. So we examined this. There are, of course, several reviews that have occurred in this area. One of the Cochrane review or meta-analysis says yoga has a significant benefit in depressed individual compared to no yoga, compared to other usual treatments, or compared to physical exercise, and compared to even psychotherapeutic interventions. So yoga has a substantial role as an antidepressant in individuals with depression. This has been established, and most recently we also found that yoga reduces scores of depression in the individual. I do not want the audience to interpret this graph as a suggestion that yoga is actually better than antidepressant drug. That is not the intention. This is not a randomized trial, so that interpretation may best be avoided. I'm just illustrating that yoga brings down depression scores substantially. The lowest graph indicates that, lowest line indicates that the depression scores came down in yoga practicing individuals. It is not just that yoga gets symptoms better, it also perhaps corrects some biological abnormalities in depression. One of the things that we were able to demonstrate is in depression or yoga otherwise enhances the GABAergic tone in a given individual. And we were able to demonstrate that even in healthy individuals, the GABA tone, the flat line is a measure which suggests that the length of cortical inhibition reflects the GABA tone. Following a 2-week practice of yoga, although they practiced more than 2 weeks, because we tested them at 1 month apart, the healthy individuals also showed a substantial lengthening of the silence period, indicating increased GABAergic tone. And in depression, interestingly, GABAergic tone is lower. I want you to look at this graph. At one end, healthy individuals who have a longer suppression duration, meaning a better GABAergic tone, compared to the pink one at the other end, where depressive individuals have a much lower tone in GABA. You allocate the individuals into either walking or yoga. In yoga individuals, if you see that light blue and the dark blue graphs, the GABAergic tone went on to get better, the lengthening of the GABAergic tone. Even within a week of yoga practice, this biological effect was demonstrable. Other authors, other researchers have also directly measured GABA in the brain of individuals who practiced yoga for their treatment of depression. GABA can be measured in the brain by sophisticated magnetic resonance spectroscopy investigation. And then they found the GABAergic levels actually increased following yoga in the brains of depressed individuals. And they also found that yoga got them better with respect to their depression status. Depressed individuals have a very high levels of cortisol. And we know that stress increases cortisol, and cortisol is not a very friendly hormone in most individuals as long as it does not sustain its level very high for a long period. Depressed individuals continue to have a very high levels of cortisol for long periods. You treat individuals with depression with yoga, more people with depression lose their high levels of cortisol to a lower level, whether you give treatment with antidepressant or without antidepressants. But you give antidepressant alone, this phenomenon was not so robust. Not many people lost the levels of cortisol. So cortisol reduction can happen following yoga in depressed individual, and people have also found that this happen in healthy subjects. Cortisol influences our brain repair. It adversely influences the brain repair. To protect the brain from all wear and tear of either stress or otherwise, our brain produces what we call as brain-derived neurotropic factor. It is a repair mechanism in the brain which is mediated by this chemical called as the brain-derived neurotropic factor. It gets out of the brain and can be measured in the blood. And in the blood of individuals with depression, it is lower than healthy individuals. You treat these depressives with antidepressants or any other treatment, the brain-derived neurotropic factor increases. And we wanted to examine whether this effect of brain-derived neurotropic factor changes in depression can be affected by yoga. You treat depressed individuals with antidepressant treatments or yoga are combined together as a group. As you can see, the blue and the next red bar, there is a small increase in the levels of the brain-derived neurotropic factor towards the levels of the healthy individual, which is the blue bar which you are seeing. You can see the other two pairs of bars on the next half of the slide, which says that before and after treatment with yoga, whether you give antidepressants or not, yoga practicing individuals have a substantial and significant elevation in this brain repair mechanism molecule, that is the BDNF in the blood. So yoga protects the brain. And as I said, cortisol, those who had losing cortisol following yoga, they obtained a much higher levels of the brain-derived neurotropic factor than those people who did not lose cortisol. In them, the yoga was not so effective. But nonetheless, I just want to demonstrate the relationship between stress, cortisol, and brain repair mechanism which are being compromised. And lastly, yoga directly influences the brain by way of altering its physiology. You chant Om. Om chanting is a part of yoga practices. You chant Om, some of the limbic cortices, some of the limbic areas of the brain become deactivated. Limbic areas of the brain are those areas which actually make us become very emotional. And by they becoming activated, there is a cascade of events which it generates, including release of cortisol and then subsequently other BDNF effects I actually demonstrated earlier. So, Om chanting deactivates limbic areas. Likewise, there could be other mechanisms which need to be looked at. Many other yoga practices which would influence this or other neurophysiological system. The point I'm trying to emphasize here, which I want you all to appreciate, is direct effects of yoga on the brain today are demonstrable. Thanks to advance of science and technology, we have many ways of looking at what our elders were saying. Yoga helps you, calms you, improves your health, improves your mental health. And we have evidence today by way of technological advances in medical sciences to demonstrate these effects of yoga. And by way of reducing the activation of the limbic structure, yoga could potentially spare some parts of the brain by getting further damaged because of the activation of the limbic structures. And we know in depression, the limbic structures are highly active. As a consequence of that, some of the cortical areas of the brain in depressed individuals have become thinner. This is demonstrated world over by many researchers. And what happens when we give yoga? This is a group of elderly individuals who practiced yoga. As you can see, that small white dot is a place called as hippocampus in the brain, which stores our memories. And this is the part of the brain which starts shrinking as we get older. My hippocampus would have been at least 20% bigger if a scan was done when I was maybe 45 years of old. In these 10-15 years, I would have lost about 20% of hippocampus in my brain itself. Most people, as we keep aging, we keep losing our hippocampus. And here are the groups of people who practiced yoga for a period of 6 months. And there is a statistical model. Scientists can examine whether the hippocampus has shrunk. Can we pick up very small reductions in hippocampus or increases in the size of the hippocampus? They practiced yoga. 6 months later, their scans were obtained. The scientists actually compared the two scans. They have found, to their surprise, in elderly individuals, instead of hippocampus shrinking, it has actually gotten bigger after 6 months in these people, 7 people who practiced yoga. I am making a cautious interpretation of this observation because we don't have a control group of people who were scanned 6 months later but who did not do yoga. We have a corollary that has been demonstrated by some other groups of workers. Here are their brains were measured for the amount of gray matter that was there in their brain. The researchers studied a large group of people. Some of them had practiced yoga for several years, and some of them, of course, many of us, had not practiced yoga. The declining line is age-dependent reductions in the gray matter in the brain, which will happen to all of us. With age, our gray matter shrinks. Imagine you have done yoga for several years, that yoga has protected these people from not shrinking. That is the horizontal line, the uninterrupted line which you see in the graph. This is a group of people whose brain did not shrink. So it looks like yoga offered protection to the brain in terms of shrinking. Another indirect indicator of aging, senescence, is what we call as telomeres. Telomeres are the terminal ends of the chromosome which shrink with age. And those who had practiced yoga had a longer telomere length. This is again demonstrated by some other researcher. Both studies, the gray matter size with chronic practice of yoga, telomere length with chronic practice of yoga, both are protected, and which again supports what we have found. 6 months of practice of yoga actually increase the hippocampus in the brains of elderly individuals. So here we are, yoga makes well-being better, quality of life gets better, sleep gets better in elderly individual, depression gets better. In depressives, cortisol levels fall, brain-derived neurotrophic factor which protects the brain gets better. Even the brain size actually increases in those sensitive areas like hippocampus. Together, we have yoga as a protective mechanism. Actually, it can be an anti-senescence intervention if we are able to demonstrate it with future results, and has a good potential to prevent dementia if adequately examined. So these are all data which I shared with you about yoga, well-being, and neuroprotection. I just want to give a translational effects of yoga in clinical practice. Being a clinician using yoga in hospital practice, I also looked at whether yoga improved schizophrenia. Why did we choose schizophrenia? Schizophrenia has some very serious symptoms called as positive symptoms, the negative symptoms, and in schizophrenia individuals, the brain mechanisms, the mental mechanisms are all disconnected. Schism between thought and affect, schism between my perception and my thoughts, and it is a series of disconnections that happen between the individuals and the society. And worse, even within the brain, the two hemispheres are in a way disconnected functionally to some extent or other. And so the schizophrenia itself is called as a disorder of connectopathy. Whereas yoga, we have heard, actually connects. Yoga comes from the word yuj, which makes it the meaning connect. And so we believe, although the definition of yoga also says it is a connection between my personal consciousness and the cosmic consciousness. So if it can do that, can it start the connections within the individual first, within the individual and the family, and so the schizophrenia could potentially get better with yoga. And so we went on to do this examination of role of yoga in schizophrenia. We did yoga practices which were developed for purposes of yoga in schizophrenia as a therapy. And then we found that in individuals who were chronically ill, were getting treatments, who had a lot of negative symptoms which are very resistant to medication effects, yoga practice in most people, a good number of people, more than 35% of the individuals who practiced yoga lost their negative symptoms. But this does not happen in people who merely did exercise or were whitelisted. I want you to see the tall blue, light blue graph in the middle, which indicates many people who practiced yoga in schizophrenia lost their negative symptoms. And of course, we have been able to replicate this data and it has been published. And one of the international guidelines was also able to accept this as a recommendation to allow yoga to be practiced in the care of schizophrenia individuals. So here we are, yoga in schizophrenia has been therapeutic. And when we do their psychological tests, we also found social cognition get better. Social cognition is a way in which I can emote with other individuals in my family, in my circles. That ability to emote with others indicates how warm this individual has been. And social cognition tests have been developed, and we found that yoga increases scores of the social cognition test. And the social cognition is damaged in schizophrenia because of low levels of oxytocin, a hormone which is lower in schizophrenia. And so people have been trying what is called as a nasal oxytocin spray to improve schizophrenia symptoms of social cognition. But we did yoga in schizophrenia individuals. We were able to demonstrate that oxytocin levels increase following yoga practice, but that did not happen in waitlisted individual. So yoga was actually endogenously increasing oxytocin levels, which in modern day as an exogenous administration that was being given as therapy. Yoga helps schizophrenia, and one of the mechanisms we believe is increasing the levels of oxytocin. And lastly, we said yoga connects. Does yoga connect various brain systems? We looked at schizophrenia individuals where some of the networks in the brain are dysfunctional. I'm not going into what those networks are. People have demonstrated what is called as the default mode network is not well connected, is poorly connected in schizophrenia. And this connection and its coherence of the connection can actually get better if you practice yoga. You can see those yellow spots that appear on the screen. Before yoga, they were poorer, and after yoga, they became brighter. The coherence get better, suggesting that yoga practice actually makes connections within the brain of some of the circuits get better. So we actually validate the term yoga to unite. So it starts uniting within my brain, my circuits, and so makes me get better from schizophrenia. And one of the patient's relative gave this testimonial to me. She said, "Doctor, you have given back my son to me." I asked her, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "He was ill for several years. We gave treatment. He got better, but he remained aloof. He was not mixing with me, would not even care. He was an engineering graduate. He wouldn't even go for a job, simply sit at home. I had to actually earn my livelihood to the family because my husband is no more. And a year ago, I had come for a follow-up. You advised me that he should undergo yoga. I started taking him to yoga. It's about now almost 8-9 months since he practiced yoga. There has been a lot of change. He started going to work. He takes me to a temple on his scooter. He brings some sweets to me. In fact, in the last birthday, he brought a sweet that I used to like a lot. The last time I got that was 3 years ago when my husband was alive. And he also brought me a sari, a color that I used to like, that only appreciation was made was by my husband. He started recognizing what my likes and dislikes are. He's able to emote with me. This is what I say, doctor, you have given my son back to me. So I thank you, she said. And this is precisely what yoga gets us back. And so we believe yoga has a place in health and mental health as well. And a multidisciplinary team will have to take yoga forward in this group of people, both for merely promoting well-being, which is very important, and also for purposes of therapy that yoga produces. All this work I wasn't able to conduct with a group of people who have participated in all this research. I thank them, and I thank all the audience in this program of the Foundation Day for listening to me. Once again, I thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor for inviting me for this Foundation lecture. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful lecture on well-being and yoga. For a short while, I was thinking that you are addressing an international conference of doctors to prove a very pertinent point that a lot of scientific study and research in medical science and neurosciences has been done on the positive impact and practice of yoga. I'm extremely pleased that this lecture has been addressed to the common people for enhancing our knowledge and awareness about the impact of yoga. And you are very rightly distinguished between the yoga practicing individuals and the wet-listed individuals. And you have advised us on the place of yoga for our health and mental health. Thank you very much. In fact, there are a few questions for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kindly, I request you to answer these questions. The first question is, does yoga and meditation treats the underlying chronic diseases like heart blockage, nervous disorder like Alzheimer's or renal diseases?
Sir, at this point of time, we don't have a scientific evidence that it works. However, many of the non-communicable disorders that include mental disorders, diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disorders, and several of the non-communicable diseases like dementias and aging, there is a prospect. It is not that it treats that illness, but it corrects our body physiology to prevent that illness. So that research has been not very substantiative, but however, if you go with all the circumstantial data that we have, it supports that yoga could potentially prevent those conditions. Whether it reverses those conditions, we are yet to have a good answer for that.
Thank you, sir. There is another question. How yoga is helpful in rejuvenating life or increasing the lifespan? I think you have covered it, but I want you to little bit elaborate.
In fact, that was the entire exercise was to demonstrate that yoga actually helps in improving the well-being, reducing the stress, and the after effect of the stress, making us get older faster than usual, and the prevention of that rapid senescence which can happen by practicing of yoga. This is the point that I was trying to drive home. I am requesting all audience to continue practicing yoga in some or other forum to get this effect better.
Sir, the next question is, does yoga has to be done regularly if it is missed for some time? Does it have any side effects if you do not do it?
Lifestyle. Yoga is a lifestyle. So how disciplined we are determines how good has been our practice. I'm no great prescriber of X number of days of yoga per day or per week or per. It is difficult for me to give that comment, but please practice yoga as much as each person can. Yoga has no side effects is a claim that is always being made, but we are consciously recording yoga in quote side effects in some situations. Most of the situations we believe happens because it has not been monitored, and very heroically we try to do some postures which ought not to be done because of our bone, muscle and other conditions which we should not be doing. So if it is done under the supervision or if it is learned under the supervision, we probably will be able to practice yoga safely.
Thank you, sir. One last question for you.
Yes, sir.
And the person is seeking an advice from you. He's saying that if people are suffering from muscular or skeletal disorder like slip disc or hip surgery, can they practice yoga?
Yeah, you are right, perfectly right. There are many postures, even in this, for these people it is advised. The professional yoga therapists say You should not do A, B, C, D, some of those things, but you can still do X, Y, Z practices. So depending on an individual to individual, it is good to take advice from a professional yoga teacher to avoid those practices which can be harmful and practice those which can actually get him better from these pains of the muscular disorder.
Thank you very much, and I seek your advice and your prior permission to upload this video on the website of the university for the information of those who could not participate today.
No issues, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Namaste.
May I now request our there is a question from one of the honorable members of the Board of Management of Orissa State Open University, Professor Mrinal Chatterjee, who is the head and the director of the Indian Institute of Mass Communication at Dhenkanal. Sir, kindly put your question. Hopefully this will be the last question.
I have no question.
Yes.
It's just a submission that this has been the most illuminating lecture that I have ever heard about the efficacy of yoga. How yoga helps us old people to negotiate the diseases and how it keeps us going. This is one of the best lectures that I have ever heard. Thank you, Professor, for this lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. May I now request our registrar, Dr. Manas Ranjan Pujari ji, to please extend a vote of thanks to all the distinguished persons, including the chief guest and the distinguished speaker for today.
His Excellency, Honorable Chancellor and Governor of Odisha, Professor Ganeshi Lal ji, esteemed Vice Chancellor of Odisha State Open University, Dr. Srikant Mahapatra, revered Padma Shri Professor B.N. Gangadhar, Director, National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, Bangalore, respected Director, Veer Surendra Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, Bulla, esteemed members, Board of Management, Odisha State Open University, faculties of NIMANS, Bangalore and Bhimsar Burla, invited guests, participants on the Zoom and social media platforms. We are indebted to Honorable Chancellor, who not only appreciated the idea of online celebration but took no time to give his consent to preside over this historic occasion. We are indeed grateful to you, sir. The lecture delivered by Padma Shri Professor B.N. Gangadhar has been the most relevant for the occasion when the whole of the country is fighting the global pandemic COVID-19. I am sure all of us have immensely benefited from his talk. We are indeed grateful to you, sir, for finding time during this critical juncture to deliver the Foundation Day lecture. Thank you very much, sir. Last few months have been very stressful for all of us, but we have utilized this time most fruitfully, and in this period we have been associated with NIMANS Bangalore and Bhimsar Burla in two excellent initiatives. We have launched the training modules on psychosocial care prepared by NIMANS Bangalore for health workers, paramedics and general public. The team at NIMANS, led by Professor K. Shekhar, Registrar, and supported by Dr. Prabhat Chand, Dr. Govind Maji, Dr. Jay Kumar, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Manikappa, have worked tirelessly for its release today. We are really thankful to you all at NIMANS. Similarly, the awareness module known as COVID Yuddhagyan for general public, community workers and paramedics has been prepared by a team of doctors from Bhimsar Burla, led by Professor Prakash Panda and supported by Dr. Sudarshan Pothal, Dr. Smita Panda, Dr. Gauriri Pradhan and Dr. Kulwant Lakra. Orissa State Open University is really grateful to you all, sir and madam. It's a great pleasure to have the new director Bhimsar amidst us and sharing his thought. On behalf of Orissa State Open University, we express our heartfelt thanks to you for your kind presence and hope that your tenure as director of Bhimsar will be a great success and the institute will reach great heights under your able command. This unique celebration could not have been a success without our esteemed guests, study center functionaries, students, and well-wishers. We thank you all for your kind presence. I take this opportunity to express on behalf of Orissa State Open University our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to all the participants for attending the first ever online Foundation Day celebration of the university in Orissa and becoming witness to the making of history. Last but not the least, we express our gratitude to our friends of print and electronic media for showing keen interest and participating in this meeting. We extend our great gratitude to all present in this virtual meeting and sincere thanks to all of you. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all for your gracious presence and participation in the Foundation Day function of Odisha State Open University. Now the meeting is closed. Thank you.